Hello, 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 TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, I'm just going to start by saying 4-drops are insane. 4-drops are strong. 4-drops are the cards that you need to be playing right now. Now, I was just playing around with the list. I want to get Absorbing Man in there and maybe Iron Lad and Shuri. So I was focusing on 4-drops, and this is the list that I put together. I'm going to show you all some gameplay. I'm going to talk about this list, but you will see why this list was winning at 70% of games. But for now, let's get into that gameplay. All right, and here we go, hopping right into some gameplay. And I know 4-4-4, 4-for-4 looks like a mess. We've got a ton of 4-drops in there, couple of 3s, couple of 2s, Howard and Sera. But I promise you, it's worth watching these games to see how this deck goes about getting its wins. And I was winning 70% of games with this list right here, and you'll see why. You always find a way with this list, and I think that can be attributed to a couple different things. One, we've got lots of cards that kind of do different things here. Do we want to take out a big power threat by destroying it? Do we need to get rid of some ongoing? Do we want to buff our own cards? Do we need to be a little bit unpredictable so our opponent can't nail down where our power is coming through? With this list, you kind of have options, and the more options you have to win a game, the easier it's going to be in Snap. It's harder for your opponent to counter all these options. But more than that, you end up finding outs that you never thought of, never would have seen, and you'll see that in these last 2 games here. But as you can see here, we've got most of our early game out there already. We've got Howard out there, who is great. Howard, I think, is amazing in this list, not just because he's a 1-drop that's 2 power, but really because of the information that Howard provides. By telling us what we have coming up, it allows us to better plan our turns, and in combination with Iron Lad, it gives us extra reach into the deck that you typically wouldn't have. So what I mean by that is that you come down to turn 7, you've got 2 cards left, you got 3 cards left, you're drawing a card, and you don't hit the Shang-Chi that you need. With Howard, we can take a peek at that top card, and then if it's on there, great. If it's not, bad luck, but then we have that extra reach thanks to Iron Lad. As you can see here, we're using him right away. We see that we have a Captain Marvel up. That would be super beneficial to have in the situation that we're in. So Iron Lad just makes perfect sense. We can get Iron Lad down. We're able to toss Absorbing Man out. A little bit rough. He had no target. His targets typically are going to be Shuri, Magik and Storm at a reach, but really Shuri, Shang-Chi, and Enchantress. That's who Absorbing Man is looking to copy. So we struck out on that, but ultimately we had too much power down there. We had Captain Marvel ready to fly around, Iron Lad ready to fly around, and ultimately it was a fairly easy game. But we're right on to this next one, and it's a completely different story. We don't have any of our early game. No 1-drops, no 2-drops. Finally, on turn 3, we pick up a 1-drop, but at that point, we have 3-drops that are more important to play. So we go ahead and we slam Storm. Now, what we're thinking here is just if we can get ahead in the lane, hopefully put Storm down with, maybe an Absorbing Man or maybe Howard, that, we can secure that lane with something like a Captain Marvel. Since we kind of struck out there, we kind of got to make do on this turn. Crystal helped by helping us reach deeper into the deck, and we decided to go with Howard and with Zabu. So in this list, the more discounts that you can get, the better. The more information you have, the better. We could have went Zabu Jeff, but we can always play Jeff later. It's more important for us knowing what's coming so that we can plan accordingly. It makes an easy turn 5 as we can get Sera down, and we see that Shuri is on the top of our deck. Now that's great because now we have a couple options. We can go Shuri right into Absorbing Man, right into Captain Marvel, all in one turn, getting 2 10-power cards and Captain Marvel ready to move around. Now in this instance, we check Howard again, and we see that that we've got Shang-Chi on top. So our thinking here is let's hold off. Let's save Absorbing Man so that we can see what he plays on 6. So by being able to see what he is playing, we then can plan our counterplay even more effectively. So we get that down, we get Jeff down, we get Shuri down, and we get to see what he comes through. Now Mystique comes through, and then we see Forge. And already I'm like, okay, we might be in trouble here. What is he forging? I see a yellow jacket. It makes no sense to me, but we have now changed our line of play. We see a nice big target there, so we know, hey, we've probably got to go after that yellow jacket. Now, we played Shuri early, so that allows us to get Captain Marvel down and then plan our other 2 plays. Shang-Chi right into Absorbing Man seems like the perfect choice. Odin, of all cards, comes through, and at this point, I had no idea what he was going with. I've never seen this type of deck before. Obviously, it reminded me of the old Shuri when you would buff up a Wasp or a Yellow Jacket to just insane numbers, but I hadn't seen it in a long time since the Shuri nerf. So seeing a 49 power Wasp come out is pretty cool, but the double Shang-Chi to take it out was even more satisfying. I did feel a little bit bad because of all that effort that they put in, but super satisfying win there. And this one was almost even more satisfying, so you'll have to see this. Absolutely insane, but it's nice. We've got Howard. We're able to get him down early, and that gives us that needed information. Icebox is a little bit annoying. It hits Storm. Typically, I like storming on 3 over Magik. It kind of takes the game in 2 different routes. Storm will let you kind of end that game early if you are way ahead in that lane, or even just a small lead, knowing you have cards like Captain Marvel. With Magik extending the game, at this point you're looking towards who's going to have more value overall in their deck and who's going to use it better. So kind of 2 different lines of play there. I like the quick win if you can get it, and in this one I thought about it, but we decided to go another route. Now the Nexus is a super hot location, meaning when it comes out, people are trying to win that location. They're putting as much power there as possible. So I immediately think, how can we take advantage of that? And Storm in our hand makes the most sense. If we can storm that location, then we're going to be in good shape because we're going to start spreading our power out early. And that's what we do here with Iron Lad. We get him down into that middle location, trying to get some power into a lane other than the Nexus lane. Now, Legion coming through definitely changes things a little bit, but really it actually helps us out. The game does get a bit close, but you'll see here that having the Nexus around is kind of crazy. Now, we know he is probably going to be buffing those broods somehow, but his other 2 lanes are going to be weak. So what I wanted to do then is commit as much power to the other 2 lanes while taking away his big lane, his big Nexus lane. So we can storm that big Nexus lane and then stack our power elsewhere. Now, seeing Patriot, I thought that was amazing. That was awesome. Surfer was probably best play that he could make. But because we get rid of the big Nexus in their favor, then we go ahead and take the other 2. Super satisfying win right there. All right, so you've seen some gameplay. Now let's talk about this list for a little bit. As you can see, I've just got 444 up there, so 4 for 4, whatever you want to call it. But as you can see, we've got quite a few 4 drops in here, 6 of them to be exact. Now, like I said in the intro, I wanted to kind of build a deck around taking advantage of Absorbing Man and some of the strongest on reveals. And what were the 2 strongest on reveals that I thought of instantly? Obviously, Shang-Chi, he is nuts, but also Shuri as well. Doubling up that power can be absolutely insane. So I figured, Absorbing Man, Shang-Chi, Shuri, let's get them in there. But we need some targets for Shuri. We need some obviously our opponent's going to provide the targets for Shang-Chi, but then we start looking at other on reveals and cards that we would like to get in here. Captain Marvel seems like a perfect option here, as she would be great being hit by Shuri. Enchantress, again, now you've got an option for Absorbing Man to copy. And then I needed to start kind of filling out this deck. Do we need to go long? Do we need to end it early? Maybe we need to do a little bit of both. We've got Magik and Storm. We've got Zabu, of course, for the discounts because of all these 4-drops we are running. And then we're running one of my favorite cards, Jeff, but also Howard the Duck. Yes, our only 1-drop is Howard the Duck, and he's given us that info, but really Howard is doing more than that, right? By telling us what our next card is going to be, it means we have extra reach into our deck. If that Shang-Chi is 1 card too deep, Iron Lad all of a sudden can reach it. Do you want to get an early Sera out, get those discounts early? You know, Howard the Duck tells us what's coming up and allows us to play accordingly. We can play Shuri early, knowing that the next card we're going to draw is either Absorbing Man or Captain Marvel. We can know that we're going to have the option to go with a double Shang-Chi at the end of the game if we need it, thanks to Howard the Duck. So the value that he provides is kind of insane, not only for Iron Lad's ability here, but also just the information is nuts. Other than that, we fit Sera in here because discounts are obviously great. If we do go 7 turns, we could have 2 turns where we play 3 4-drops in 1 turn. If we get Zabu and Sera down, those are all now 2-drops. And that's where you can really go wild. You get those double Shang-Chis. You get the Shuri into Absorbing Man into Captain Marvel. You get to, you know, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, and a Captain Marvel. It's kind of just nuts what you can do and how you can link these up. As you saw, we got out of some really sticky situations and was really able to just come from behind and win most of our games, you know. And you have those options. You've got Shang-Chi for the destroy. You've got your power route with Shuri into Absorbing Man into Captain Marvel. If it's an ongoing deck like these Dinos or Darkhawks or Null, you've got Enchantress. So you really just have all the answers and a way to get them all out and know what's coming up. So this has been a super good deck for me. Like I said, I was winning about 70%. So, hey, if you guys have these cards, give it a shot. But in the next video, we're going to be looking at Silver Samurai and seeing if we can make a couple of different decks for him and just see what we think he's going to do. But if you've hung around till now, watched about all these 4-drops, I really do appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't subscribed or liked, now would be a great time to do so. Don't know what you're waiting for. You'll get more great Marvel Snap content like this. But until the next one, have some fun.